welcome back. We are your Emerald Coast relocation team, and today we're going to be talking about Navarre, Florida.
What is all that hype about?
All right, let's go.
If this is your first time watching, Pete and Chelsea Sweeney here. What we like to do is uncover everything in the Emerald Coast. We're talking Destin all the way over to Pensacola. If you are looking at purchasing real estate here in the Emerald Coast, give us a call or text that phone number right below. Right below right there. We always answer. It doesn't matter date or time.
No worries if you're not ready to call. Hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell so you're notified every single time we put out a new video. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. But before we do, can we just take this in for a second? The Emerald Coast is showing off for you guys today.
Yep.
We had stingrays come by, beautiful birds. Like I'm telling you, we are in paradise. But let's go ahead and talk about Navarre today. And the first thing that we're gonna be covering is this whole proximity to the sound.
Yeah guys, one thing that we have noticed about Navarre, and we haven't really been able to put our thumb on it, is like, why is Navarre so much different from a city like Gulf Breeze? And I think the biggest thing is the vibe does feel a lot more beachy. A big reason for that might be is 98, which actually turns into Navarre Parkway, is so much closer to the sound. So when you are driving on that highway, you see the water right there, right when you kind of start to hit that Navarre Park. Yes, there are some neighborhoods similar to Gulf Breeze, but it's not as deep as it would be over in Gulf Breeze.
Yeah, and he mentioned Navarre Park for a second. Yep. I think that is really special and kind of underrated, because say Gulf Breeze, Midway, all of that going kind of closer to proper Gulf Breeze, you don't have that on the water kind of park right off the highway that you can stop and have lunch or go walk over if you're like working at one of the businesses. It is so nice right there, and you're right on the water. You get to look right over the sound across the Navarre beach. Like, I just think it's underrated.
It is super underrated. That might be a big reason though why Navarre is being hyped up in the way that it is. It's just like, okay, so outside of that, let's think about, okay, you got Destin, right? But majority of Destin, you have a bunch of resorts that are kind of blocking that view under the water, unless that bridge from Fort Walton Beach over into Destin. It just seems like you really don't have anything like that in these other cities compared to Navarre, and everyone's like, you know what, super beachy here. Also, a big thing about Navarre in comparison to like some of these other places is there is so much room to expand here.
Speaking of our second topic and why we think the vibe, this room to expand, I looked up because when you're looking at a map, what you'll see is Gulf Breeze, kind of this long, linear, like slim piece of land.
Yep.
When you get into Navarre, that's when it starts to really widen.
Yep.
I was curious to know kind of what the area differences were for you guys, because it feels like Navarre just has so much, it's just so much deeper and so much wider. So I looked it up for you just this morning. The most recent stat is that Navarre is 29.33 square miles, whereas Gulf Breeze is 22.14. I thought it was going to be a lot different as far as like how much bigger it was, because Navarre just feels like it has so much more empty spaces, bigger lots and things like that, and we are seeing the expansion in commercial space significantly in Navarre compared to some of these surrounding cities.
Yeah, it does seem like when you are driving on 98 through Gulf Breeze, everything is kind of squished to 98. And so that's why, you know, you have your developments that are right off of like your grocery stores and stuff, but the residential is right there. Where Navarre, it's not the same thing. The residential, they do have some on the south side, but on the north side of 98 or Navarre Parkway, it seems like it's off the highway quite a bit, and that's where you do have room for all that commercial space to grow.
Now, before we get into our third topic, which is kind of going into that housing, I want to take a quick second and talk about how I really do think that Navarre has it figured out when it comes to the development and the use of the space that they do have. We're seeing new development with new houses, and we'll get into that, but some things that we are also seeing is new restaurants, and that is what a lot of the surrounding areas are lacking over here, unless you're on Pensacola Beach. So this, you know, seeing new breakfast places, like ma-pa places instead of kind of the typical box stores or box restaurants, I think is going to blow Navarre up in comparison to the surrounding city.
All right, so quick time out real quick, guys. I got PRK surgery probably like a year ago, so I'm gonna have to put those shades back on. Otherwise, I'm gonna be doing this video with my eyes closed. So, give me a quick second, put the shades on. All right, cool, there you go. I got the shades on now, so it feels a little bit better. I can actually see. My eyes aren't draining with tears right now, so.
Yeah, he's not crying because it's so beautiful outside. We're hoping that you can hear us, because we want you to see the Emerald Coast right here, but we're also chancing us like yelling at you through the screen, because we have to be louder than these beautiful waves. So bear with us through this. I hope you can hear us. We'll find out soon when it goes to editing. But let's go ahead and jump into the third thing, which is going to be housing. Now, okay, we drove around almost all of Navarre to try to really suss summarize this for you guys. And I'll be honest, it was a little hard, don't you think?
It was hard, and we made sure to take our time because majority of the time that we have come to Navarre, it is because of Navarre Beach. To take advantage of all the volleyball, sand volleyball, the awesome beaches, even some of the restaurants that are right off the highway. So we really didn't get to experience all the residential areas that are on pretty much the north side, some on the south side of 98 or Navarre Parkway. And so we took it was like 2 or 3 hours just driving through, really trying to memorize or try to get a good idea of what's a little bit older and what's a little bit newer. So like, what's that summer we kind of came together with, I guess?
Okay, so it's not as black and white as you would think. So what we came up with for you guys is if you're driving on 98 and you're coming down, kind of heading towards Destin, right?
Yeah.
Everything on the right-hand side is fairly new. You're going to see small neighborhoods in there that don't connect, that are kind of the newer area, newer homes, kind of
some
more
gated communities.
Yeah, and those are gonna. Some of those are going to be all the way to the sound. So obviously you'll get a little higher price point because you're close to water and you're close to all the amenities. Now, if you go to kind of the main road that goes up through Navarre, that is going to kind of separate two different areas, which is kind of that east and west side. We're going to talk about them for a second. When you're going through that main street, majority of the stuff around us is going to be very spotty. And we say this because coming from a larger city, you will see like new areas and old areas. That is just not what it looks like here in Navarre. You'll have like a modular home, and then you'll have, you know, an older brick home, and then you'll have a brand new home that's going to be siding and brick or stucco and brick, and it is so spotty. It'll be like 1, 2, next, 1, 2, like it's all over the place, don't you think?
Yeah, I think essentially what it was is you did have a lot of these older homes that were in the kind of like the northern Navarre area, and they had a lot of land, and so a lot of them, what they probably did was they divided up those lots, and then you have these developers coming in here putting onesie twosies, so you'll see like a row of like 3 homes, and then you'll have some older homes, and then a row of like 6 homes, and so it is pretty spotty, just mainly in that northern portion of Navarre. But then we did drive over into like the western portion of Navarre, and that area was super beautiful.
On our way over to the west side of Navarre, we did find something that we were a little surprised about. We thought that the waterway behind Navarre, you know, on the other side where the bay and all the bayous and all of that is, we thought we were going to find some big houses the way that you would see over in Gulf Breeze. Everything along the water side is going to be $1 million homes. That is not what we found. We actually, you know, Villa Danielle and then another little complex that backs to some of this water, even with some major like wooden bridges going all the way out to the water since it doesn't touch the back of the house. We saw townhouses, row home options. Villa Danielle had like an actual pickleball.
Like, the pickleball, but they had like some tiny houses too.
Tiny houses,
and like we even talked about it, it's like, are those like senior, what do you call them, senior pods or
little
something?
Granny pods, you know?
Yeah, they look like little 1 bed, 1 bath, 1 car garage, and we're like, man, those are really small. Not what you would quite like. Over in Gulf Breeze, like if we're talking about the unincorporated side where it's on the bay, you have Grand Point, and Grand Point is where a lot of people want to be because you have newer, just awesome houses, all, you know, pretty like 800s all the way up into like $1.5 million price point, and just gorgeous houses. That wasn't the case here in Navarre.
And it's cool to know that some of those areas that we saw with these townhouse row home kind of options did have these little community centers like we talked about. It had like an outdoor garden, it had a little pool, it had like pickleball. So it's interesting to see that you can pick up a, you know, multi-fam type of product that's way cheaper and still be with like in a good location. All right, so then we went out west, and that's going to be over by the estates at Hidden Creek, and oh my lordy, this is the most beautiful neighborhood. Obviously, it's where the golf course lives. Yeah,
wherever you have a golf course, you are going to have those awesome communities up within there, and so the price points definitely did jump up a lot more up there. What were we looking like from 400 all the way up to like a little bit over $1 million?
Yeah, so there was a couple that were 400. I would say those are going to be your like 3-2 single-story brick homes. It located in a really nice neighborhood, so that's going to be kind of your bottom line is that 400, and there's very few of those. I would say majority of the homes over there are going to be 5, 6, and then a few even closer to 9, and we saw one over $1 million. So it's cool that though, it's still cool that you could pick up a house in that beautiful neighborhood for 400,000. So to me, even if that was my price point, I still would strive to be in that beautiful community.
The fourth thing that we're going to be talking about, and we actually, as we were driving on the north side of Navarre, we're like, what is this huge field right here? We saw it on the map. It kind of looked like an airfield, but actually it's this huge Gulf Power solar field. It's the largest one on the side of the Mississippi, or one of the largest ones.
Yeah,
it's one of the largest ones on the east side of the Mississippi. It's huge. And how many residents did it say that it could power for an entire year?
It was 6,100 residents that it could power for up to a year. So like that's and believe me, I did all this research after that. I was like, what is this place?
Yeah.
What does it do? Like, holy moly, what is it? Because it took up, and you can see it on a map. Actually, when you're looking on a map, it's going to look like a triangle, like kind of like an overlapping triangle. That is the solar field. We were amazed to see that right in the middle of Navarre.
Yeah. The fifth thing that we're going to be talking about in regards to Navarre is the fact that the tourists really have not taken over this place. Yes, I don't know what's to come. Living here, I'm going to tell you right now that we have heard people talk about how Navarre doesn't want to become the next Pensacola Beach. They don't want to become the next Destin. They want to keep it more residential so that the locals can enjoy the spot. Yes, they do have those resorts, those hotels, but nothing like what you're going to see over at Pensacola Beach. And it sounds like they kind of want to keep it that way.
Yeah, so even the condos we recently looked up and actually helped a client look at, we are still seeing those condos under $1 million. That is not the same type of thing we're seeing over in Pensacola, especially because the ones that hit about $1 million over here are going to be like a 3-bed, 3-bath, like a large square footage condo. Whereas, you know, these 1-bed, 2-bed, 1-baths, they're going for 700, 800, 900. I know that's still really high, but those are on the beach condos. Yeah. You don't find that close to the beach like this. I mean, this is the beach we're on, okay? Yeah. These condos are looking this beautiful beach, and they're under $1 million.
I feel like we should show them real quick. Hold on,
we're gonna
pick you guys up. Stuff. So they're right behind us right now. If you can see in the distance right over here.
I don't know if I'm pointing to them with my wild beach hair.
Yeah, so those towers right back there, that's pretty much what we're talking about when we are talking about these condos. And they're just, like I said, it looks like they're really not looking to, hopefully I got you guys all right.
Hopefully I'm back in here with my beach hair.
Yeah, but that's pretty much what we're talking about when we're talking about these condos. Yes, they have like a Marriott over there. They have some of those hotels for some people who can't travel here, but it's just really not as touristy as say over somewhere like Pensacola Beach.
We have covered 5 topics that we think is why Navarre is getting all the hype, why a lot of our clients that are calling us are like, Chelsea, Peter, we want to check out Navarre. Yeah. We get it. We hear you. You're going to want to stick around and hit that subscribe button now, because we are going to be covering what we do not like about Navarre after spending 3 hours traveling around town to get all the best footage for you guys. So you're going to want to hit that notification bell, because you will get notified when that next video comes out. If you like this content, give us a thumbs up.
And of course, guys, if you are looking at purchasing real estate here in the Emerald Coast, give us a call or text that phone number right below. Right below right there, we have that top relocation team to get you to your next home. Until next time, we love you. Bye.